So it's been a long time since I've made one of these videos, since you guys have seen me. Usually I make them every week, but lately I got thrown off that path. But that's okay, because sometimes you get thrown off the path that you're on in life. And that is meant to happen sometimes, because what that enables you to do is it allows you to then go try other paths and open your mind, because sometimes you can be very narrow, rigid in your thinking because you're on one path and you don't even think of an alternative path, like an alternative life. And so to be able to allow yourself to try new things and drift off course, I'm not saying do something crazy, but you'll know what that is. You'll know how it feels. You'll know it feels right to do. And it's a feeling only you can figure out for yourself. I have felt it. So I have felt something calling me, something telling me to do this. I don't think, like, I would never do this, but it's telling me to do this. And I'm fine now. Like, I'm fine where I'm at, but it's still telling me to do this. And so why is that? I say you have to follow that. You have to see where that goes, because more often than not, it's your subconscious trying to tell you that there's something more here, something more you can learn. And life is about growing and learning and not staying stagnant. A lot of people just stay at the same job, do the same thing day in and day out. Now, there is a routine and to those things, and you have to work your way up within corporate environments and try to achieve your goals. It takes some time. I'm not talking about any of those things, but I am talking about people who have become complacent and who have not really found any motivation, any sort of, they don't know their life calling. They don't know what they want to do. And I don't think anybody will ever know, like, truly what they were placed on this earth to do. But it will help you get a clear picture of that, because we're all consistently evolving, trying to figure ourselves out, trying to figure out other people, and trying to figure out where we fit in society, what we can contribute, what we can't contribute. These things are important. But I just wanted to talk about the fact that my life has been derailed many, many times for reasons I don't know. And I know everyone has their problems. Yeah, that's correct. Everyone has their problems, and so do I. And maybe you can learn from my mistakes. Maybe you can find some hope, inspiration. And that's my goal of telling you these stories, telling you these things. It's not to say that you don't know it. It's not to say that I'm better than you, but it is to help give you a different viewpoint, a different way of looking at it, because everyone has a different way of looking at it. So the goal here is to give you an alternative way of understanding how to deal with life situations, how to deal with crises, how to find motivation. Because I've been through a lot, believe it or not, in my short time on life, 28 years, but I've been through a lot. So recently, I guess I'll backtrack. I had criminal charges that were brought against me in Utah County. And you're probably like, you've been to jail? You've gotten charged? Yes, I have. But I have not been convicted. That's the best thing. Anyways, I recently got those charges dropped, mind you, after 2 years. 2 years of fighting these charges, which I didn't even do, first off. Like, there's a whole backstory to it, but basically the police came after me, targeted me for no other reason. I was there with a camera and recorded a protest happening. And in the I guess in the moment of all the things going on in the protests, some guy comes out and shoots at a car that was trying to drive through a crowd of protesters. And that creates some crazy spark across like the nation in the United States, that it was the first time someone got shot at like a Black Lives Matter protest. And the funny part is I was the only black person there. Literally only black person. I know, contradictory, but Utah's very white, okay? And so what did the police do? They said, the black man must be leading it all. Black man must be... No, I literally went there to document and record like I always do for journalism. And then they targeted me because of my skin color. They fabricated entire narratives in their affidavits just to get me charged. Then harassed me for like 2 years. Would take down my social media accounts. Like, they specifically would target my social media accounts, mind you. They had a social media, they would comment on my social media accounts. The police, I'm telling you, the police. Literally, it'll say like Provo PD. I'm not joking with you. And so that opened my eyes, because I never have really a negative view on police prior to that. Prior to that, I was like, I don't know what people complain about. I don't know why they're saying there's police brutality. I don't know why they are angry at cops and law enforcement. I just could not relate. But through that, I found out. I found out that my naivete, from maybe my parents teaching me, I don't know. I just kind of felt like the world was better. Like, it wasn't so corrupt. Like, it wasn't so of a harsh and terrible place. But it is. And so I got charged for riot, which is a felony, and I got a misdemeanor as well for criminal mischief. All right. Actually, that was a felony at first, and then it got dropped to a what did I just say? It got dropped to, I can't remember. It's fine. I just have a brain fart. You know those times you just like thinking about something and it just like skips your mind entirely? Misdemeanor. That's what I was thinking about. So yeah, I got dropped from felony to misdemeanor. That was great at that moment in time, but literally I'm telling you, that didn't have no relevance. They tried to hold me, like, I'll backtrack a little bit. The police came to my house, took me out of my house, off my back porch with like no warrant, and arrested me. And consequently, the police department's like right across the street from me. Like, literally, you could walk there, and the police department's there. My house, and then the police department. And so they brought me to the police department across the street, walked me over, legitimately, in handcuffs, and then threw me in some interrogation room. And they're like, oh, we just have questions for you. They don't even tell me I'm arrested, right? They don't. I blatantly ask, am I arrested? They didn't say anything. They were like, we want to question you. We want to, get some answers. I'm like, all right. First off, I didn't do anything, so I have nothing to hide. And I don't really so why would I have a fear of talking to police, especially if I trust them? But come to find out, I shouldn't trust these police officers. So they take me into, the precinct, put me in interrogation room, and start asking me questions. Did you organize a shooting? Did you organize protests? Did you damage property? Like, all of these things, like, they're trying to literally incriminate you. But I could just tell, the best thing is I can tell the truth. Because the truth is the easiest thing to continue. It's the easiest story to never get wrong. People who tell lies, they're fabricated lies, they can't remember it. But the truth remains consistent. They will lie about something, say that they did something, and then in the same exact sentence, maybe the next sentence, they'll say something contrary to that. And so, sticking to the truth, if you are in the right, literally just own it. Own either the consequences from your actions or And that goes both ways. It's not or, it's just literally you own the consequence of your actions. Like good or bad things can happen from that. Good or bad. Those are only two options. So there's a consequence to everything that you do, any action that you make. Anyways, they put me in here. The FBI comes in. I'm like, bro, FBI? Like, literally, I just showed up to this protest with a camera. Literally. That's all and just stood there and filmed. And so the FBI comes in, start asking me questions like I'm some like terrorist or something. And never in my life have I been arrested. Never. Never in my life have I have a criminal record. I had nothing. I was like stand-up citizen. I, did a lot of community service, Boy Scouts, did church work. Like I'm telling you, like there was no indication that that would warrant it, FBI to come into the interrogation room. Much less there was no indication for them to arrest me in the first place. They just made up everything, right? So this is what happened. They fabricated an entire affidavits on saying how I damaged this car. I caused like $3,000 in damage. This is what they said I did in this affidavit. They said, I kicked a huge dent in the car. First off, there's no dent. The funny part is when we got the insurance after they reviewed the vehicle and did an inspection on it, there was absolutely zero damage on the door they alleged that I dented. And also, on the top of the fact, they have nothing saying I organized anything. Like, first off, they literally just said, I organized. Okay, with who? With who? I was by myself. I only have, at the time, I only had, 5 followers on Facebook. Like, I really didn't have, and I didn't even have, my Instagram following really anywhere near where it is now. So, just give you perspective. Like, they were delusional and probably racist because they only literally I was the only black person and they just targeted me and say I led the entire protest for some reason, but I just showed up with a camera. And no one knew me that night, by the way. No one knew of me. They just kind of came out and targeted me out of nowhere. I'm like, what's going on? Anyways, I recently got those charges dropped. So that's been a huge monumental thing in my life, and I'm very happy about that because goodbye, I don't have to worry about their case anymore. But mind you, I have so much shit on them. Like literally, I have done 2 years worth of investigating work into that specific incident. And then not only that, the police department themselves, like I could bury them in the dirt. Like I was like, this is what I tell my lawyer. My lawyer's like, oh, we probably get charges dropped. I was like, fuck no, let's go to trial. I'm ready to go. Like, cause I got the shit. I'm ready to embarrass the fuck out of these people. Like, excuse my language on that, but literally that is what, that's how strong I believe in it. Like, I'm telling you, when I have information, I have over 2 terabytes worth of video, first off, and different documents. And then I have written entire book, literally entire book almost. I think it's 60,000 words I've written about that night, about the situation, and it goes into great detail. And it has all of these references from everything that I've collected. Like, I'm telling you, videos, photos, social media posts, police body cams. Like, I did a full 2-year dedicated investigation on that. And only for the sole purpose because I was pissed. I was like, you guys are gonna fucking charge me for nothing? Well, I'm gonna fucking bury you. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't put up with that. Like, and I didn't have any ill intentions. Like, literally, I was friends. I made friends with some of those police officers, but then they go and do something like that. So I couldn't understand that. But racism, you can't really understand racism. It's just how it is. People are sick in their minds, sick in the head. Anyways, I will be looking forward to, suing them. I'm looking forward to suing them, and I'm looking forward to bury them in the dirt. Like, that is going to be the best feeling in the world. Is like when you are in the right and you have everything and you can just pick up a shovel and just like start digging a grave for them, and then you're just going to be like, there's no other option but to roll their body in the grave. Like you are, like that's how confident I am. Like there's no chance. There's 0%, like 0% do they have of like getting some, like they can make zero excuses, guys. Like they could not even fabricate anything to specifically like try and circumvent what I have on them, because I have concretely, like meticulously closed all ends and made sure anything I did say is backed up with affirmative like footage or statements from certain people. So like that's the best part. Anyways, now you guys know, I did go to jail for like a day. Thank God that I was there. They put me in a cell with like some murderer. And I was like, why are you putting me in a cell with a murderer, guys? Like literally I didn't do it. Like I'm the least violent person, I'm telling you on this. I've never punched anybody in my life. I don't even get mad at people, mind you. Like I get frustrated, but I don't get mad. Like I've never been mad. I don't even have the anger in my body to like physically come up with the aggression to punch somebody in the face. Like I'd be more worried about how I would hurt them, like because I would punch them, not because I would get hurt. I would be more worried because they would get hurt. And so like I don't have the anger. I have compassion for the person, and like if they've done something to me, like obviously there's a reason for that. And so regardless, I have compassion and I want understanding there. Like I flip that entire around. Now there's people who have slighted me. Yeah, I get frustrated. I get perturbed, but I don't let that like influence my emotions, and I don't let it affect my relationships. I have right to be frustrated sometimes, but you gotta control yourself, guys. There's people who get out of control. They don't control their anger. They don't control their frustrations. They don't control any of their emotions, and that's a problem. You gotta figure out how to do that. But I spent like a day in jail. The food was like absolutely terrible, and like it was like at the height of COVID. I was like, bro, am I gonna get COVID like in jail? That would be terrible. And because I had to get a COVID test before I went into the jail, mind you, right? But I got bailed out. Bail was like $10,000 in the U.S. You can get like bail's bond, and so you'll pay 10% of $10,000. Actually, it was $7,000. So I paid $700. I didn't pay it actually because there's a fund, I guess a nonprofit organization that gives people bail money, right? They give people bail money to get out of jail. I had connections and they did that for me. So that was great. At least that's a plus. But I still had to pay like 15 grand for a lawyer. Amazing. Like that's the financial part of like them trying to like come after and destroy you. But if you're in the wrong, just like own up to that. That's a different matter. But if you're in the right, stick up for yourself. Don't plea out on some shit. Be ready to fight. Fight. The battle is the funnest part. I'm telling you what, the battle is where you learn the most. Be ready for the battle. Enjoy that. Because especially for men, right? We don't really have a sense of battling like in the medieval days, swords, going against man-to-man, hand-to-hand combat. We like don't have that. Now we have modern warfare, of course, like with guns and stuff. But we've lived in a relatively peaceful time. I think we all can agree on that. Only lately has it turned into some conflict, but still you're really rarely doing hand-to-hand combat. So we have switched into a place in society where we're doing psychological combat, like combat that is passive aggressive, not aggressive, not frontal. So like the combat is you defending yourself against the state, against the government coming after you for wrongfully, I guess, charging you, bringing charges against you, and you're defending yourself. That's a battle. You should relish the opportunity to test yourself, to see how strong you can be, how focused you can be, like how will you deal with it? Will you let what they did to you, like, let's say, you know, when I got arrested, it changed my mind a lot. Like when I went to jail, it gave me a lot of perspective, because like your freedom is limited, right? And now, you know, you really understand what it's like to have everything stripped away from you, right? Because you're sitting there, you have no control. You don't get to just walk out the door. You don't get to choose what you eat. And so that helped my mind a lot. Like that in and of itself benefited me like extraordinary. Obviously, like I did have some depression from that, but I controlled it. That's a different thing. Like you can have depression, but you can control how you let it affect you to a certain extent. Obviously, there's extremes to every situation, but what I'm trying to teach you here is you don't need to let circumstances influence your emotions. And if there's a circumstance where it is, you feel is unfair, or that is going to be a great challenge in your life, look at it from this perspective. This is an opportunity to prove myself. This is an opportunity to improve myself, because only through struggle can I grow. Only through combat can I learn my strengths and my weaknesses. Can I challenge myself? Like this is an opportunity to challenge yourself. And I'm not saying go and look for this type of stuff, guys. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when life throws you a curveball, when life deals you a bad hand, and you're feeling like it's unfair, and you're mad about it, I would want you to change that mindset. Look at it as an opportunity to prove yourself, especially if you are on the right. If you're in the wrong, let's say you committed crime, and you know you committed the crime, and you're being charged now. I'm not saying just plead guilty to it, but what I will say is you have to own up to what you did. You have to own up that you did it, you know you did it, and from that point forward, how are you going to change yourself? That's a challenge in and of itself, right? What are you going to do better next time? And know when you're innocent and they charge you under false pretext, that's a different situation too. You now have an opportunity to defend yourself and prove to the community, to yourself, to your family, to the world that you're strong. You held your ground. You didn't plea out. You didn't, you didn't allow it to bury you in the dirt. It didn't allow you to ruin your life. Like you're still growing. You're still wanting to achieve goals. You're still focused. And that there, when you realize how to just control the small part of saying, this is a challenge, and I'm going to rise to the occasion, and I'm going to show everybody, my friends, my family, and the world that I am somebody of worth, of value, because somebody who is not worth anything, somebody who is people don't want to look up to or follow, somebody that people think is weak, are the people who give in to hard circumstances. And they become mediocre. They become complacent. So I want you to look at life. What has life dealt you? What hard things in life have you faced? And try and see how you can turn it into a positive. Try and see how you can turn it to benefit you. How is this a challenge, and how can you rise to the occasion? Like, how can you overcome this, and what can you learn? What can you gain? What skills can you gain through this? Like for me, I would never have sat my ass down on a computer long enough to learn editing and investigative journalism and writing. Like, I just wouldn't have done it, because it just wasn't what I did prior. I mean, I did sales. It's very different. So I took all of this video editing, investigative journalism, all of that, that was provoked by me being charged. Me being charged said, I got to defend myself, so I'm going to now become a different type of journalist, and I'm going to investigate this, and I'm going to gather facts, and now I'm going to put it all together, and I'm going to have it in a chronological, coherent manner. So I had to learn how to organize files and format different documents, like and edit video so people can understand what's going on. And all of these things, like I gained from the situation, the negative situation, supposedly, that I face. It sucks, no, I'm not gonna lie, because people were like, oh, you're guilty, you're guilty, you're guilty, you're guilty. I'm like, I'm not guilty, guys. Like, first off, that tells me everything about you. People who know me, like, I'm very quiet, I'm very non-aggressive. I'm competitive, but I'm not, I've never hurt somebody in my life physically. So it's just a thing, you know, people who know me, truly know me, like they know I'm not violent. And to see people just turn their backs saying that I am now violent because they see it on the media, it was kind of disheartening. Yeah, you can get depressed about that. Like, and I did, 100%. But I didn't let it paralyze me. Because the only person that matters, the only view that matters is the view of yourself, of how you view yourself. Can you live with yourself? Can you honestly say that you're doing everything you want to do, that you're achieving all the goals that you want, that you're happy, like you love yourself? And I'm not saying be narcissistic. I'm saying you can have love for yourself without being a narcissist. You can, you know, love what you bring to the world. And through loving yourself, you can love others, right? Just like it says you can't, you know, love somebody else if you don't love yourself. And so you need to start with yourself and then expand that. Because if you can sit here and people will say various things about you, they say you're a terrible person, I don't like you, you're ugly. That doesn't matter, because you have your own self-worth inside. Like, those words don't matter. Like, those words, like, I know I'm not ugly, and so I guess that's your opinion, but I don't really care. It doesn't affect me. It didn't do anything. They'll say, oh, you're lazy. Take that as an example. Okay, they might say I'm lazy, but in all reality, I'm not lazy, you know, and I know, because I'm being honest with myself, and I know what work I do. You know, I know that I'm not lazy. And so don't let people's words affect your mood. Especially, you just need to look at them as like a child. Like, they are ignorant as fuck, and you don't listen to them. Like, you don't listen to a child when it says random shit, because you're a grown adult now, and you know that, you know, they don't have the wisdom or the foresight to really look at life and make logical decisions. And so what I'm saying here is that's how you need to view that person, because they don't know shit about you. Even though if they're your closest friend, they don't know shit about you, because you know yourself better than anybody. So all I'm saying here is stay focused during the storm, and be diligent in improving oneself. Don't let the bad things throw you off path in life. Don't let them distract you. Be open-minded to new ideas, and make sure that you can find a place of center and find love within yourself, acceptance, understanding from within. And if you start there, everything else will fall into place. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching this video, and hopefully I'll keep on doing more of these, because like I said, you need to be consistent in your work. You need to be consistent in what you do day to day, and then you'll see results. That's the beautiful thing. You will now become literally in the top 10% by you just being consistent at what you do, because the majority of people just quit. They quit. 90% of people quit. That's crazy, right? So just be strict. Make a calendar. Find out how to make that regimen work for you so you can be consistent. And you'll just see success in whatever you're doing. You'll become in the top 10% automatically. Just give it 6 months of doing consistent action on that one specific goal that you have, and you'll be in the top 10%. I guarantee you. If you're being honest and you're giving it all you got, you will. You really will. Anyways, hopefully you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. See you at the next one.